Brian Windhorst of ESPN shared a very positive injury update for the big man Mitchell Robinson. He also let us know when Robinson is expected to return to action for the New York Knicks. We're going to dive into those quotes, and then we're also going to break down who should start when Robinson is healthy. Should it be Ihart or should it be Mitch? But first, if you're ready for the New York Knicks to get fully healthy, to see a fully 100% New York Knicks team in the playoffs, hit that thumbs up icon right now. Don't jinx it. Hit the thumbs up icon. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for taking time to get caught up with us on everything surrounding the New York Knicks. Mitchell Robinson has been out for quite some time, but Brian Windhorst of ESPN said yesterday that he is expecting that he will be back by the end of the month, and I am ready to see Mitchell Robinson play some basketball again. It's been a long time. He hasn't played in a game since December 8th, 2023. It's been a long time, and I am ready to see him back out there contributing to the Knicks and helping them do things this season that they have not done in 20-plus years. This was Windhorst's full quote on Robinson. He said, Mitchell Robinson should be back before the end of the month. They're only going to get better as long as they can get healthy. And look where they are right now, in fourth place, with a shot to get up to the second seed. If Mitchell Robinson can somehow, some way, get back to 100% healthy, it is scary hours, and the New York Knicks might just be the best team in the Eastern Conference. I feel like we kind of forget what Robinson could do on a basketball floor because he's only played in 21 games this year. But he was on pace to set the best offensive rebounding rate of anybody in the NBA since Dennis Rodman. He is the best offensive rebounder in the league. There's a reason he averages 5.3 offensive rebounds this year. He's also an elite shot blocker, 1.3 blocks per game. And he also has upped his defense to be a menace off ball and play the passing lanes, 1.5 steals per game so far this year. He was making a strong case to be an all-defensive player this year, and I can't wait for him to be back. If he does get back, and if he is close to the guy that he was prior to getting injured, the New York Knicks would be the biggest bullies in the NBA. They're already rough and rugged, and they beat up pretty much every team they play. Whenever you listen to a player after a game that they play against the New York Knicks, they talk about how they were expecting the Knicks to be a physical team, and that's what they were prepping for. That's the identity that Tom Thibodeau has set for this ball club. But if you can get Mitchell Robinson back to pair him alongside Isaiah Hartenstein and Precious Achiuwa, the Knicks would be, once again, the biggest bullies on the block. Just look at the rebounding numbers, offensive rebounding numbers, and blocks per game for some of the big fellas on this team. Robinson, 10-plus rebounds, 5.3 offensive and 1.3 blocks. Isaiah Hartenstein also has been great. Struggled a little bit sometimes as he's dealing with that sore Achilles, but he looked really, really good against the Golden State Warriors, giving you 8-plus rebounds, 3 more offensive rebounds, and another 1.1 blocks per game. And even Achiuwa has been really good on the Knicks when it comes to the bully type of stats. 7-plus rebounds, 3-plus offensive, and 1.3 blocks per game. The question then becomes, when Robinson comes back, will he be a starter or will he be coming off the bench? Knicks Movement on Instagram posted this picture of potentially a starting 5 that features Brunson, Chenzo, Anunoby, Randall, and Robinson, and said, this is the lineup we're all looking towards seeing. And Mitchell Robinson actually commented. He's actually very active on social media, big Snapchat guy. He said, I'll rather come off the bench. Maybe I can show more. I don't love him saying that, and he's always been outspoken, and I like when players speak their mind, but I'm not so sure I'm the biggest fan of that quote. But it begs the question, who should be the starting center when the Knicks are healthy with Robinson in the lineup? Let me know what you think. Type 23 for Mitch, 55 for Ihart. Who do you want to see starting at center for this team when everybody's healthy? Coming up next, we're going to go in an in-depth comparison of Mitchell Robinson versus Isaiah Hartenstein. I'm going to give you pros and cons to both players if they are both in the starting lineup. That's around the corner. But first, you need to get hooked up with our proud sponsor, Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. Today's Knicks Now episode is made possible by PrizePicks, and they've got specials for new and returning users alike for March Madness. When you head over to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use that promo code, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Football season may be over, but the action on the hardwood is heating up. Whether it's March Madness or the fight for NBA playoff seeding, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. March Madness has already kicked off, and you could pick more or pick less right now. PrizePicks is also giving us a free pick for Caitlin Clark's matchup Saturday. Just select more than half a point for Clark and pair it with another winner for 3 times your money. PrizePicks is simple. You pick more than or you pick less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get started now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get a first-time deposit match of $100. prizepicks.com/CLNS. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description. This is the lineup that I'm rolling with today. You can roll with my picks or fade my picks, but I kindly ask to support the show and support the sponsor. And if you're going to play daily fantasy sports, do it with PrizePicks. Right here, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. Tom Thibodeau is going to have a very difficult decision to make when it comes to who he wants starting at that center spot. Isaiah Hartenstein has been great as the starter for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson was great as the starter for the Knicks, but they offer different things, and they make each player makes the Knicks better in different areas. Let's break it down. Isaiah Hartenstein, he helps with offensive efficiency. You go back and watch that game against the Golden State Warriors. The spacing was tremendous. His ability as a roller, not just to hit that push shot from the dotted line, but also be a quick pass away from getting a shot open for somebody in the corner, keeps the offense alive and I think more efficient. Also, unlike Hartenstein compared to Robinson, when Robinson catches the ball on offense, it's essentially a dead possession. Whereas Hartenstein, he could dribble handoff to someone, he can attack the rim, or he could throw a no-look pass to a backdoor cutter. But Mitchell Robinson is the best offensive rebounding guy in the NBA, and that has been the DNA of this team for the past couple of years. That's the reason why the Knicks were one of the best offensive rating teams last year. Not because they shot just a white-hot percentage from three or they were super efficient. It was because of the extra possessions that guys like Mitchell Robinson were getting them with the excess amount of offensive rebounds. But Isaiah Hartenstein, in my opinion, is a better switch defender, and he guards better on the perimeter than Mitchell Robinson. I also think he plays better against stretch bigs. I always go back to the New York Knicks games versus the Boston Celtics this year. Kristaps Porzingis in that pick and pop, he really took advantage of Mitchell Robinson. Whereas Hartenstein, I think he moves better laterally. I think he's better in those situations, and he makes you better on defense around the perimeter, and I think it gives you more switching versatility as a defensive game plan. But Mitchell Robinson defends the rim better. He's one of the best rim protectors in the league. And I feel like when you are a guard and you're trying to get downhill against the Knicks, you feel Mitchell Robinson's his presence in the paint a whole lot more than Isaiah Hartenstein. And that's not to say Hartenstein's not a good rim protector. I think he's one of the best in the league. I just think Mitch is up there with guys like Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama. But the New York Knicks were the best team in the NBA in the month of January when Isaiah Hartenstein was the starting center. So you have Hartenstein, who I think makes you better offensively. Mitchell Robinson, better offensive rebounder. Isaiah Hartenstein, more versatility on defense. Mitchell Robinson, just a bully in the paint and going to protect the rim. But also Hartenstein was the center on the best team in the NBA in the month of January. You look at what he's done as a starter this year in 36 games as a starter, 7.6 points per game, 9.9 rebounds, 3.6 offensive, 1.2 blocks per game with 1.1 steals per game, 2.9 assists per game. Both players make the Knicks better in different areas. And I think that is a great thing to have, kind of a yin and yang rotation at that center spot. But if I had to make a decision on who I want rolling in the starting lineup, I'm going to go with Isaiah Hartenstein for a couple of reasons. First one being, who knows if Mitchell Robinson is actually going to be 100% healthy when he does come back potentially by the end of the month, which Brian Windhorst reported. He's coming off leg surgery, another lower leg injury for him. Who knows if he's going to be that same guy who was the start of the year. And I also wouldn't be shocked if he's on a minute restriction that Tom Thibodeau would, of course, ignore. But I don't think there's any way that Robinson's going to come back and give you 30 minutes per game. Give me 20 minutes, 10 in the first half, 10 in the second half, let Hartenstein play for 28 minutes. And I also just kind of like the idea of Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench and being matched up against second-team centers because he would dominate those matchups. And when you talk about grit and grind, when you talk about New York hoops and what it means to play a brand of basketball that resembles what it means to be a New Yorker, this New York Knicks bench is incredible. Miles McBride, Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, Mitchell Robinson. And I put Bojan Bogdanovic in there, even though he doesn't fit the description of anything I just said. When you talk about grit, grind, defense, do whatever it takes, Deuce, Josh Hart, Achiuwa, and Robinson. That right there reminds me of some New York 90s Knicks. I can't wait till he gets back. If we get any more information on him, Anunoby, Julius Randle, we're going to get you guys a video as soon as possible. So subscribe and turn your notifications on. You don't want to miss any videos we put out as the season continues to heat up and the playoffs are about a month away. Before we bounce out of here on today's video, I just want to take a quick look at the standings and what the Knicks have when it comes to remaining games this month. Right now, the New York Knicks, they sit in that 4th seed. They're 41-27, just 2 wins behind the Cleveland Cavaliers in the standings. So there is a chance, like Windhorst talked about, that the New York Knicks could get up to that 3 seed. And that would be huge because then you'd be able to avoid the Boston Celtics in round 2. Can they get to that 3 seed, though? Just 2 games behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. And luckily, that's wrong to say. Not luckily. For the Knicks, they may be able to catch the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are dealing with some injuries of their own, as Donovan Mitchell has a broken nose. He also had to have a PRP injection, I believe, as well, which has slowed him down. He's talked about how he hasn't been able to get to the basket as well, and he's going to be out for a minimum of 1 week. So maybe the Cavaliers drop a couple of games, and the New York Knicks can pick up a couple of games and catch that 3 seed. You look at what they have the rest of the schedule. It's going to be tough against Denver. Then you get a couple of easy games. Brooklyn, Detroit, Toronto, San Antonio. You need to win 4 games in a row right there. Would love for them to beat Denver on Thursday. I don't know if OG Anunoby is playing, so it may be hard for them to do that. Then you got teams like OKC will be tough. Miami will be tough. Sacramento's going to come back with a vengeance after you just beat them in their own building. And then you got Chicago and Milwaukee and Chicago and Boston and Brooklyn and Chicago. It's going to be tough down the stretch. New York Knicks can't afford to lose many more games, especially if they want to get up to that 3 seed. Make sure you are following me over on social media at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, at @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram. We're tweeting and posting about the Knicks daily. So give me a follow over there. Hit the thumbs up icon on your way out, and let's go Knicks.